All right, welcome to this week's market preview. So we're just going to quickly run through what we were expecting for last week and then dive straight into what to expect for the current week. All right, so last week I mentioned that the fact that we were bearish across all our the key things we look at. So swing short was bearish, the fractal OF was bearish, volume trend was equally bearish. So what we're looking forward to was to have a fractal high form, and then that fractal high taken out, and then we get a reason to sell. And of course, if we are going to be selling the USD, we want to be buying GU, we want to be buying EU as well. All right, so our swing shots, then the weekly fractal OF, the way we would have loved to see it happen, didn't really occur that way. However, I also mentioned the fact that we had the opportunity to trade intraday since the trend on EU was equally bullish on both the daily and the H4. So would have gone down to our lower time frames and then would have gotten a reason to sell. So we took the first trade, hit TP1, and then reversed back to SL. Now, this other model is one of our models, a B1 model, but that is only reserved for those who are in the FXP course. All right. And of course, I mentioned during that training that, or during that preview, that if price, this fractal high, it was still yet unconfirmed as of then, that once it's confirmed as a fractal high and then price comes to take it out, then that will basically mean the end of looking for any form of buys or any form of buys on EU, and the same thing goes for GU. So once that happened, basically that was the end. You basically wrap up for the week. So however, if we go to GU, we would have seen something else that occurred. So after that happened, we had a situation where you had this fractal low, and then price still came to take it out. So once that happens, that is another time to start engaging with the market. It didn't occur on EU, right? You could see fractal low. It didn't occur on EU. So there was no reason to look for further buys on EU. However, it occurred on GU late on, let me not say late, it occurred on GU on Friday, I believe, and then took a trade. The first one went to hit SL, and then took the second one, which has hit TP1. You could see it is still running, right? It's still running, so it has hit TP1 and then now dancing around. Of course, yesterday was Monday. We expect basically consolidation to happen in the marketplace, especially since there was no major red folder news. All right, so that is how last week played out. So if you are trading the B1 model of this, you would have hit your full TP both on EU and GU. All right, so what do we have for this week? Let's start with the dollar futures and the fractal OF. All right, so we saw this. This is still the last break we had. All right, so our last break is still to the downside. So from a fractal OF perspective, we are still basically bearish in the market. Now, one of the other things that it's not that it gave me confidence to take the trade, because I would have taken the trade either way, as long as it met my models, is the fact that if we want to change the order flow, right? If we are going to change the order flow, this is a bit far away, all right, to try to push all the way to this point to change the OF. So what they will usually do if they want to change the OF is so this is already forming a fractal high right here. So if we start dropping from here and we need to see 2 days of drops to this side, all right, so this is Monday, right? Monday, Tuesday, this Friday. So what I was actually thinking was that we're going to have this Friday as the high, and then we have Monday and Tuesday to be lower, right? Monday, Tuesday to be lower, and then maybe then we could see a reversal to the upside to break this fractal high. However, yesterday they still took out the highs. It didn't come in on it didn't really come in on EU, but you could see that on G as well. So took out these highs. So if we are going to have this as a fractal high, then we need to see both today and Wednesday being lower. Then this will become a confirmed fractal high. And then we could then reverse up on Thursday or later Friday or maybe even next week to then break that fractal high. So for now, I'm not seeing and then from a volume perspective, I'm not yet really seeing that volume pushing in the bullish direction yet. All right. So word of swing shots. So if we go to swing shots, let me just refresh this so that the indicator will show. All right. So we are basically inconclusive, right? You're basically inconclusive for the week, right? So for if you've watched the swing shot video before now, or if you're attending the FXP course, you will understand how this is derived from the price action of the last 2 weeks. All right. So we are basically inconclusive. So if we are inconclusive, what are we waiting for? We want a fractal high to form, and then want that fractal high taken out. So that happened yesterday. A fractal high formed, and then late yesterday, the fractal high was also run through. So basically, at the moment, our bias has become what? Bearish. So swing short is giving us bearish. Fractal OF is still giving us bearish. Volume is still giving us bearish. So a three-fold cut. But we'll see what the market holds for us. So what can we do? For our weekly trades, we'll be looking for price to run through this fractal high. All right. So we want to see the high of the week form. We want to see the high of the week form on both the USD baskets and the dollar futures as well. Right. So we want to see this push all the way up here, take this out, and then we'll begin to look for a reason to sell on the lower time frame. So that is what we'll be looking for our weekly trades. If we also go to EU on the H4, we'll see that we've basically, despite this whole drop that happened here, the order flow is still basically bullish. The order flow is still bullish on EU. So we could actually get our intraday model playing out today as well, or even later in the week. So until a fractal low is broken to the downside on H4, will remain bullish. So we'll be looking for the Asian low, right? So this is going to be your Asian low. We'll be looking for price to come run below the Asian low, right? And then we'll begin to look for an opportunity to buy EU, right? So that is basically what we are going to be looking out for this week. Now, from a fundamental perspective, we've basically been for a while we've been having reduced and we don't know if a while, for last week we had a bit of reduced volatility in the marketplace. The red folder news hasn't been coming so strong like that, but this week we have a ton of red folder events to expect. Today I think we have just one, which is the existing home sales. That is not likely to move the needle so much, except if the numbers really vary from what market is expecting it to be. Then on Wednesday, we have a ton of PMIs. So a lot of PMIs are going to be released across both the Eurozone, the UK, as well as in the US. So that is definitely going to be a major driver to look forward to. So I'll actually be expecting that we would get the setup either today or very early tomorrow, and then those PMIs will likely be the catalyst to push prices to where they are supposed to be. All right, then on Thursday, we have durable goods, the normal jobless claims, and also US GDP numbers will also be released. And then finally on Friday, we'll be seeing personal income, PC inflation, and the Michigan consumer sentiment. So it's going to be a packed week with when it comes to red folder events. So we should see our trades actually move in one direction or the other. All right, so that's basically going to be that for this week's market preview. So for those of you who are still interested in attending the FXP calls this year, there are still some slots open. If you're interested, go to the Trade Experts website, www.tradeexperts.com.ng, and you would be able to register. You could just hit me up personally at Shuvik on Telegram, and we'll be able to take it up from there. I'll also drop the link in the description so that you'll be able to access the sites if you so please. All right. Thank you for watching. See you next week.